Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
You saw it. Well, he was also sort of a gentleman.
So for the November 2019 one that got away, I've actually got two movies for you guys, and I'm really excited to talk about these movies because even though I didn't get a chance to see them in theaters, these were two specific films that were really more on the low budget end, but they seemed to have really good human stories, and I was really curious to see what these two specific movies were all about because they definitely did look like two films that I would enjoy. So the first movie that we're going to be talking about today is The Old Man and the Gun, which stars the legendary Robert Redford, Casey Affleck, Sissy Spacek, Danny Glover, and Tom Waits. Now, forget all of those specific cast members outside of Robert Redford, because the movie really does revolve around Robert Redford. He is the character that makes this movie. He's the reason why we're watching this movie, because it's actually based on a true story. And it's about a escaped convict named Forrest Tucker, and this specific character, what makes him so interesting is he is a bank robber. But the most interesting thing about the fact that he is a bank robber is how nice and hospitable and charming he is. And when the cops actually come to see what's going on and who committed the crime, they all say, but the guy was so nice. And that's what makes this movie so interesting. Forrest Tucker is such an interesting man, even though he knows that what he's doing is not right. Even at the age that he is, he still just has a crazy thrill about risking his life, getting into trouble, and possibly even getting caught. But in the back of his mind, he's not really worried about getting caught because he's literally believing that he is going to break out because he has done so 16 times at this point. So he meets a woman, Jewel, and she really falls in love with him, even though she knows that he is not the best of people in this world because of the fact that, let's say, he robs banks. But she does appreciate that she is respected by him, appreciated by him, and actually loved by him as well. And this movie is just an interesting life story between these two people and how they meet and how they interact and how they're still sticking to the things that actually make them happy. And it's just fun to see that Forrest Tucker loves to rob banks. He just really appreciates the thrill. And John Hunt, who is the police officer who is after him, is hell-bent on really trying to see that there's gotta be something wrong with this guy. Like, he's gotta be a truly evil man. But even through the minor encounters that they have, and they may not even see each other face to face, he still cannot get over the fact that Forrest Tucker is somewhat of a decent human being. Robert Redford, this is probably one of the most charming and wonderful performances I've seen. This movie will just make you smile. Is it the best movie that I've seen? No, but I was very surprised by how much I enjoyed it, because even though I felt this was going to be a movie that I would enjoy, I was really happy that I enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought that I would. It's not necessarily a movie that I would like to see again, nor is it a movie that I would like to see on DVD, but I would say that if you just want to see a really nice human story with some very interesting twists, take a look at The Old Man and the Gun, and I'm going to give it a 2.5 stars out of 4. The next movie that we're going to talk about is Can You Ever Forgive Me? And it stars Melissa McCarthy. And this was actually a very interesting film because of the fact that Melissa McCarthy got nominated for an Academy Award for her role as the character Lee Israel. This is also based on a true story, and Lee Israel has basically gotten to the point in the early 1990s where she has just lost the ability to do what she loves to do, and that is write a good book and sell a good book. She was usually a ghostwriter for autobiographies. Most famously, she wrote the autobiography of Katharine Hepburn, but up until this point, she just hasn't been able to get any work, and she's basically starving to death. So one day, she actually uncovers these letters that were written by some very famous authors, and she decides that she wants to add a little something to these and even forge signatures to make them look as if they are authentic and sell them to collector places and actually make some money off of that. So what's so interesting about this woman, Lee Israel, is the fact that she did commit a felony, but the fact that we saw exactly what she was going through, you had a little bit of sympathy towards this woman, even though she really was, dare I say it, a really stuck-up and rude bitch. And even though she knew that she was failing, she knew that she was starving, she didn't care. She didn't want to do something else with her life. She just wanted to write because she knew that she was good, and she didn't care about what other people thought of her, no matter whatever the costs were. This movie also has a couple of great supporting actors, including Richard E. Grant and Jane Curtin from Saturday Night Live and Third Rock from the Sun. And even though Jane Curtin doesn't really have a massive role in this film, when she's on screen, she does have some great moments. The chemistry between her and Melissa McCarthy is dynamite. And Melissa McCarthy just steals this movie. She is fantastic as Lee Israel. And it's quite a shame that there are directors out there that just don't seem to realize how great of an actress Melissa McCarthy is. I mean, Paul Feig obviously knew her talents and gave her the role in Bridesmaids, which actually also got her a nomination for Best Supporting Actress, and we had never seen a supporting actress nomination for such an outrageous comedy like Bridesmaids. But take a look at the rest of the films that you've seen her in, and she is funny. I mean, I've seen her on Saturday Night Live, especially when she did her impersonation of Sean Spicer. She's really funny, but there are just so many people in Hollywood out there that just don't know how to work with her. Say what you will about the Happy Time Murders, I thought that Brian Henson did a great job with her in that film. I really laughed at her role, but taking on a dramatic role as Lee Israel was definitely something that I think us appreciators of her needed to see, because there is a great side to her in the world of drama and a darker side at that. And I definitely will say that if you are a Melissa McCarthy fan, you have to check out Can You Ever Forgive Me? It's a slow burn, there's nothing really flashy about it, but it is a very compelling story about human nature and the risks that we will take knowing that we're doing bad things. We just don't care because all we want to do is live and do what we love to do while we're living on this plane. So I would definitely say that it's a movie that I cannot recommend enough. Is it a movie that I'd like to see again? I wouldn't mind seeing it again if I had the chance, but it's not a movie that I would want to own on DVD. I will be giving Can You Ever Forgive Me 3 stars out of 4. I really think that you should check this one out. So thank you very much, everybody. Those are my 2 movies for One That Got Away this month. I'm hoping to get some comments from you in the box below to have a discussion if you've seen them, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.